All right, guys, I'm going to fly through this. You know what's going on with this movie. If you're a fan of the franchise, you're going to like this new one. For me, I haven't been the biggest fan of this franchise, and I think this movie really solidified that for me. I'm going to jump right into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen this yet, I would just skip to the end of this video. I did not go and revisit any of the other movies before watching this one, but I really do feel like I just rewatched the second movie all over again. The only new things here were the new Fire Tribe and the transformation that Spider went through. It was still the same old fight from the last movie where you've got the Colonel versus Jake Sully. I really didn't like how Jake Sully was acting like a total D-bag for the first half of the movie. He really wasn't treating his kids well and wasn't listening to them at all. Maybe those of you parents out there can relate for whatever reason, but I just thought it was lame. I feel like Zoe Saldana's character also had a thing going on where she was just being really rude and mean for a significant portion of the film. And I understand that that's kind of her thing, right? She's always been kind of cold and what have you. But I just feel like there was so much negativity coming from the people that are supposed to be adults in these situations. But moving on to the rest of the story, I mean, there was nothing special here. It felt like a total rehash of the last movie's plot. I feel like there's a formula with the last couple of movies, especially where you start off all happy-go-lucky, everyone's fine, living their best life, and then something bad happens, and there's a chase scene, there's a fight scene, there's some quiet parts in the middle where there's some melodramatic family drama, and then there's more chase scenes, more fight scenes, and then there's a build-up to this final fight where through movie magic, the native people of Pandora go and win, and then at the end, everyone's happy and living their best life again. I just don't know how there can be more of these movies unless they bring something interesting to the table. I think if you just kind of look at these movies for what they are, which is really just spectacles, then maybe you can find some appreciation like I did. I saw this one in IMAX 3D, which, by the way, is kind of a gimmick. I haven't seen a 3D movie in years, and I do not think it was worth the ticket price. I paid like $53 for 2 IMAX 3D tickets. It took me a while to get used to everything being kind of up in your face, things looking blurry. I think that the frame rate change that kept happening throughout the movie was a little jarring. You would go from a typical 24 FPS that you see in most movies, and it didn't really work with the 3D effect. But then it would suddenly switch to a 60 FPS experience where everything looks smooth and beautiful. I'd honestly rather have just watched it in 2D, but unfortunately the theater closest to me that had an IMAX screen were all taken up with 3D showings. Obviously this movie was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's incredible how far CGI has come. I think that that's what most people want to see this movie for. This is one of those movies that people test new TVs with. Everything looked great. The CGI, motion capture, the expressions on the faces, all the fire and particle effects were 10 out of 10. But this movie was just missing some substance. I mean, it's crazy that I went to this film, paid $53, had to pee the entire time, and then by the end I was like, why did I even watch that? And I'm not trying to be all like, oh my god, the movie sucked. Like, no, there's something here I think for everyone, and I do appreciate the work that goes into making films like this. But for me, I'd rather have spent my 3 hours maybe watching something else. Again, this is the third movie that I've seen in this franchise. I still don't care about most of the characters in the film. I just think that this is like a visual spectacle with some story thrown in on the side. Again, I'm not trying to be a hater here. I think that the performances were good, especially, you know, the younger actor, Sigourney Weaver, shout out to her. One thing that really annoyed me was everyone saying, come on, like over and over again. Anytime that there was a chase scene, Spider was there yelling, come on this way, come on this way. It reminded me of a certain video game that takes place in a zombie infested mall. I know I'm kind of going off on this movie and it may not deserve it all the way. I'm just really opposed to movies that are really low effort from the story perspective. If you're a big fan of the first 2 movies, you're going to like this one. It is literally more of the same, copy paste. And some people are going to love that, some people are not. I gave this one a 3.5 on Letterboxd. For fans of the franchise, am I missing something here? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of online feedback right now where a lot of people were agreeing with me that it was really just a copy of the last movie. This just did not make me excited to see any kind of follow-up in the Avatar franchise. And if there's anyone out there like me who was kind of like indifferent about the whole thing, let me know your thoughts as well. As always, I appreciate those of you that watched to the end of this video, and make sure you argue with me in the comments.